Old timer. That's something you'll never be if you don't get back to the city.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the X-Transbots Locke, the 86 MXXI Warrior, and this is their take on Cup, and I gotta say, this is a G1 Masterpiece representation. This is version 2. This is the second go-around. They fixed a lot of issues with the first one. So, number 2, number 1, and a lot of the issues with the first ones are corrected. There's different paint apps. There's actually different molded parts. They've actually made some design changes, fixed a lot of the issues, I think pretty much all of them. We're going to talk about this, but I did get this. It shows you a link below where you can get yours. So let's take a look at this guy, compare the two, compare it all, get it transformed. Coming up. Take a look at the box. I actually didn't fish the other one out of the attic, so I don't know if it's exactly the same as the old one, but here is the box. You got the tech specs and all that kind of stuff on the back. He is the function of a warrior. Here is the side, and on the bottom, I think something cooler than even the box, though, is this little magazine, a little booklet. Now, you remember back in the day when we were kids, we used to get booklets like this, the X-Transbots preview. And you get to see here, so we've got an Omnibot there, we've got Jansen, their Perceptor. We actually have 2 pages of that picture, more of the Omnibots on the way, more pictures. Really kind of cool flipping through all the stuff that's coming. I think it's cool that they put this little catalog out, gets it excited. They have made some mistakes. X-Transbots made some mistakes. This is step 1. This whole fixing Locke is step 1, and its quality is high on their list right now. I could tell with this figure. It looks good. Anyway, let's take a look at it. Okay, so first thing I want to do is kind of compare these two, show you the things that were wrong with mine first version, and then compare how it's fixed or better or different on the second version. So not everything is better, like not all the paint apps are improved in my opinion. I think some of the paint apps should have stayed, but let's starting with the top. So the first issue that I had up top, this back piece here wasn't pegging in, and as you can see on here, they've redesigned it, so now there's notches and stuff. Now I still don't get it to peg in, but I think I need to retransform that whole top section. I think it does show up. I did spend a lot of time with this one to get it pegged in. Now this one here I need to spend some more time with, but I'm about to transform it anyway, so I'm not going to mess with that. The next issue that we had, I do have some paint shipping on the first version here where I was swapping the face, so I'm going to swap the face. When I show you how to do that, I'll do it on the first version since I've already chipped some paint on that one. And then they've also remolded this front piece. I don't know why, but right here, there's like small rectangles, and then the rectangles are sideways over here. It's just different. This whole area is different. Looking down, this different paint right here, I don't know why. Why did they need to change the paint scheme? I don't think that was the problem with the figure. It was the breakage. Right here, you can see that they painted this, but it wasn't painted before. And then going down lower, the oranges. Now, the first one, the oranges match the center belt buckle piece. And this, the oranges don't match as much. So, I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I'm actually going to display this one in bot mode since I can't transform it anyway. And this one will be the alt mode version. So, the next issue that we ran into were, I guess let's do the hands next. So these hands do not lock in place like they should. As you can see, well, it's doing a little better, but they kind of have a slider. They slide out and then come out, and then you push it in and it slides in. But as I manipulated it, it would just come out. This one here is really bad on this side. So I thought that was an issue. With this one here, it's better. So it's solid, like that is in there solid, and so you actually have to give it a little bit of force to pull it out and to put it back in, and it's the same on both sides, so that's pretty good on both sides. And the next issue is this piece. Now you see how floppy that is, right? This isn't floppy. I mean, you could get it to flop out, but you actually have to move it and do some stuff there to get it to flop. This one here, straight floppy. It doesn't hold in place. This one has at least a little something for the ab crunch to where it's going to hold, but this one's really floppy. This one will hold your ab crunch pretty well. Now with this one here, I've got a stress mark. If you can see it, this piece is stressed right there. It's not, yeah, there it is, right there, showing up on the camera. It's like white. And I don't have that yet with this one, but then again, I've messed around with this one a lot more. Getting down to the thigh piece on the first one, the thigh slid too easily on this side. Will not, under any circumstance, slide on this side at all. It will not go, and I feel like I will break it if I give it more than like 20 or 30 pounds of pressure. So I'm not going to do it. And I don't see the point of it since I've got, the fixed one. And okay, showing on this slides in, slides in. So, and then getting down to the bottom, I think that's pretty much it. Looking at the back real quick, and these are the differences. If you're looking to maybe buy one on the second-hand market, now you need to know which version you're getting. First version has that painted. This one does not have it painted. And overall, the blues, the greenish blues, more blue on this one, more green on this one. I don't know if the camera's picking that up so well. Also on the butt flap, it has paint on this one where all this is uniformly painted. I don't know which one I like better. It doesn't really matter to me. The color of the joints are different right here. Quite a few differences in these guys. All right, it does come with quite a bit of accessories, so we're going to kind of get into that. The extra hands, face, head, weapons, and weapon target masters. So what I am going to do, I'm going to show you kind of these two faces here, which they're the same. He comes with 4 total faces. And let's see, it's zoomed in. Okay, so you've got kind of on the right, the stoic look, and on the left, you've got the cigar, which I kind of like the cigar one the most. I think that one fits him really well. So what you kind of do is you get your thumb under here and you just wiggle this out. And because I've already messed with this one, it's loose. That one is real tight, still hard to get off, but I've been messing with this one for a while, so I can still do this. Now, what you would do now, if you want to put the flat top on, which I do not, by the way, because it's ridiculously hard to get off, you would get it off by pulling it right here, but it just feels like it's glued in. It's in so hard. I've got it off once, then I put it back in, and it was tough. So let's look at the yelling face. I'm gonna try to speed this up, but there's the yelling face. There's like, yeah, hot rod, don't do that. Here's the happy face. I guess this would be the shattered glass version, a happy cup. Now we're going to quickly get into articulation, then accessories. So looking at this, his head, we can go up, down. You can get that going on too. And all around. So anyway, shoulder goes out about that far. I don't want to over hyper. And I do feel like this is still really kind of a weak point, this joint right here. So because the friction joint here is so strong that I feel like it's giving too much to that. But I mean, it's just be careful when I move this. The bicep swivel is extremely tight, so got to be careful with that. You do have, now that came undone, a double jointed elbow right there. Your hand moves like this, and your hand can also open. You also have that extra additional finger, and so the finger doesn't point straight though, but it is a trigger finger, so it's going to work. And so I kind of like how the hand opens and it will collapse on whatever it's holding. That's pretty cool. I did show off the ab crunch, and it does swivel. You do have the ab swivel like so. You can flip up the thigh, the skirts right there. And okay, you have this joint and it's tight all the way out like so. It's a friction, but it's really tight friction. And then you can go forward, but there's also a second joint in here which is really tight also. Part of the transformation. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that right this second. So you do have the this far to the back. Now that's ratcheted. You hear that? That's ratcheted. You do have the swivel right there. And okay, showing on this slides in. So really good. There's the knee, and it's tight. I'm not gonna lie, it's tight. And then down to the ankle. Now the ankle does feel a little bit loose, but it kind of holds together because all the weight's on it. It holds fine. But you can kind of get whatever range you want out of that. And that works. Okay, so we do have these bigger fists here. And so what you do is you basically just pull off this pegged system, which I like. I actually like that, and it works. So, and then you've got the bigger fist. Now, one of the things I want to show you is just how much bigger it looks than the standard fist. And I don't think you can use the big fist in transformation. I am going to use those for transformation, but I just want to show you how the big fist works, and everything is exactly the same, including the pointer finger and all that. It's interesting that they give it to you. Maybe it's more tune accurate. Maybe it's depending on, the scene, but that's a big hand. Getting back to the normal hand, we're going to show you this Sharkticon piece here. It's got 9 points of articulation. It's the Sharkticon tail weapon accessory. There it is. It gets the job done. Plug it in. And he holds it just... Wait, hold on. He should hold it just fine. Plug it in. Let him grip it. Holds it just fine. Yeah, pretty good. Also, I want to take a look at the gun, and I'm going to bring in the old cup so we can compare the gun. I said old cup, like there's a young cup anywhere. There's no young cup in the Transformers lore, is there? So here we go. Repainted. Again, the weapon is more of a silver metallic, and that's more of a gray, so different. There's still no other real paint apps, and I don't know if it's just cast in this or it's actually painted. It looks good, though, and I like the new color. So speaking of these guns, we got the Target Masters, and so let's go ahead and have a look at them. They both are pretty much the same, with a little ball-jointed head and a little bit of stuff on the arms to do this, that, another. Ball joint elbow, no waist swivel or hand swivel. You do have a rocker at the waist, forward, back, side to side. Knee that's really tight, which is good, and movable feet, which are really, really tight. I believe these are much tighter than the first versions. Again, I didn't bring the other ones down to check them out, but anyway, let's go ahead and get this bad boy transformed real quick, because I mean, this is a party trick, I guess you could say. So first thing you're gonna do is just kind of fold him in half this way, and it's all gonna go fold that out. And then it's weird, you want to tab his arm into this slot, and another tab this arm into this slot, and then flatten the feet out. It should tab together, but I guess it doesn't. And then you got the handle, and he'll hold it with his handle. Let's look at the next one. Same articulation, a little bit more paint on the face here, I think. And they just look slightly different, but they also transform way different. So looking at this, you fold this over. It has to clear the foot. It didn't clear the foot the first time I transformed this guy. So anyway, it's not wanting to clear the foot again. The foot joint is really tight, and which kind of scares me. When it's this tight, which, I mean, I think the other ones were pretty loose. When it's this tight, it's a little bit scary. It doesn't really clamp in. We fold this handle down. This folds like so. And then we have that. And of course, clipping in his hands, the back of his arms into these slots. Backs the arms into the slots. And then we can put them in said hands. Is this not clearing again? This one's not clearing. There it is. So that's the gun. I don't really know that it's... I don't know how you'd make these any better. Eventually maybe Dr. Wu should do this and just make them, a whole line of them, and it would look good. Who knows? I mean, Dr. Wu masters the small, and that might work. Let's get it in a hand. And that's what it looks like with Hot Rod holding one, Cup holding the other. They look okay. They're not that bad. They're not the end of the world. They're not the most horrible one. I think on this one here, I think it looks like I should have pushed that down lower to kind of tab in better. But anyway, yeah, there it is. Looks okay for what they are. Alright, so here's Locke next to the original G1, and I do want to point out that I'm going to transform this guy right before I transform him, just so that I can show kind of the similarities and transformations. The transformations actually share a few major points in transformation, and that's kind of fun. Here he is next to Coot, and I have to say, this is the version 1. I forgot to do the Coot comparison, even though he's sitting right next to me. Forgot all about Coot. So looking at them side by side, I like the X-Transbots aesthetic better, and I've said that from day one. The problem was that we've had Fans Toys on the shelf for so long that I started thinking Cup looks like the Fans Toys. But the reality is, X-Transbots looks more like the Toon. It's more Toon accurate, and it's more for me, and I like it. So looking at them from the side, you can see that X-Transbots is much cleaner. It does look better. There are some things that Fans Toys actually does do better, but for the most part, aesthetically, I like everything pretty better aesthetically from X-Transbots over here. It's cleaner, it looks more like the character to me, and so for that, I'm giving X-Transbots the aesthetic win. Here are the hot rod options next to Locke, and you can see that he fits in fine with either one, but I still like the Fans Toys hot rod better. This hoodlum just seems more premium than this, and Takara, no, I do not want another hot rod 3.0 or whatever. Here is in comparison to some of the ladies here. We've got RC from Takara, RC from Fans Toys. People seem to love the Fans Toys RC. I think the Takara one looks better. I mean, looks more like RC. But that backpack... Okay, anyway, that's how they look, just so you know. And here's next to Redguard himself, He Talk TV, next to the Fans Toys Robot Paradise Acoustic Wave, because I have stuff coming for him. His tape's coming, so I'm not going to put him in my display yet. He just hangs out in the review area till he gets integrated into the display. Anyway, that's how they look with bigger bots, and one more comparison with big bots. And here's how he looks next to the KO Silverleg MP44 and next to the MP09 Hot Rod. Yeah, it's kind of a lot of fun. These are kind of easy to grab. I want to show off the G1 transformation to kind of show how similar, there's some similarities to this. Let's leave that thing hanging off the back and fold that up. And then, I just love how simple G1 is, but you're going to fold this up. And I really think you could put either one in either direction that you want. So you have the arms folded up under here. You have the legs that spread. Hey, spread them legs, Cup. Then you fold this down into place, and that tabs into place. Now the feet are on a slider. The wheels and the feet are on a... the wheels are on a slider. That's in this transformation. So wheels being on a slider. This whole way, this piece kind of folds back. So many similarities to the G1 transformation, except this is simple. And what we're going to do is not at all simple. Okay, so now for the transformation, and it didn't get any better with time. Oh, man. So anyway, let's go ahead and flip this part up here. Let's open the back and straighten all of this out with all that. And lift his arms up out of the way a bit. Okay, I'm gonna pop this piece here out. It's kind of interesting how all this is gonna work, but this piece has to move past this piece. So that doesn't actually... That's why it doesn't just move out easily. So this is a tough one to get this piece out. The side pieces. I don't know if... maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I can move this piece slightly to get that through there a little bit better. But this is a scary part. Because that... No matter kind of what I do... Because you can see that right there. No, oh, whoa. I don't know if that should have done that just yet. But anyhow, there it goes. But it feels like you're moving stuff past stuff. That's the way this transformation goes. All right, moving down here to the bottom, we're going to kind of pop these down a little bit. And then now with that, we can work it. Let's push in on this just a little bit to start it, to get the fun starting and happening. And then roll it out. Now I'm going to be ultra careful. So we're going to move this over like so. And then we're going to fold this piece here out. And then this is going to go up in atoms. See, this has to flex. That has to flex. I don't know any way around that. I don't know how to do it without flexing that. So here's this. Turn this like so. These side pieces that folded out now fold back up. And then getting this flexed right here. This has to flex right here. This has to flex to move past it. I don't know any other way. And then this folds up and kind of fills a gap. So this is nice. This piece that folded up. So, with all of this where it's at, we're moving into the right direction. Let me get the camera readjusted and then we'll get back into it. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to push these pieces here down. And the thing about them is they... Come on, slide down. Just push something past something that shouldn't happen. That does suck. It's a little scary right there. Feels a little strange. Now we're going to be able to slide this piece here up and get that into place. Then we got to move. This is the part that people break something too often. So I've heard of, or people were saying, breakage on this. So you want as much clearance as you can to pull this wheel out, and then you slide this up. So this is the tough part, where a lot of stuff is sliding past itself to get the wheel out. And there it goes. Same thing on the other side. There's a slider joint in here, so you got to get that arm up and out of the way, like so, and then get the wheel out. The problem is this piece on the first one was breaking, and even though it's screwed in, it would break, and then people would not be able to finish the transformation. They wouldn't even be able to, I don't know how they were fixing it or moving about it, but that was a tough part right there. Now we can't put the arms away yet till we move the head around. So now we got to mess with the head. So we're going to kind of move all of this back and fold this piece in. It's kind of tight. My paint. You just kind of have to keep moving these joints and moving these joints till you can get his head to clear, and it barely clears. It's not really clearing yet. I've got this back piece. Straighten this back piece out once it's gone through so that you could get that clearance. There it is. Man, that's a struggle. I didn't think that part was going to be as big of a struggle as it is. So, wow. Quite a struggle there with that one. Anyway, so now that we've gotten that around, let's see, we're looking at the front. We're going to get back to pulling this front piece out. And be mindful, there's still a lot of parts floating around in here that are very, very thin parts that need to come back the way they were. And let's see here. We're going to need to get all this to come back up. These little pieces here, make sure that they clear as you pull it back up before we put everything back in place the way it's supposed to go. Yeah, it's not the greatest transformation in the world. I'm probably making it look harder than it really is, because it's not that horrible. There is this piece here that needs to come up, and there's a little tab that's kind of like, hey, you can get her started tab, but it's hanging up right here. I actually used a screwdriver and just popped it out on the side. Don't do that, I guess. Use a spudger. Be smart. Don't break your stuff. But anyway, we're gonna pull the head around the rest of the way. And so there's some unforeseen issues with this transformation for sure. Like getting the head through here now. There we go. And then now we can tuck it all in inside this little cavity here where it's supposed to go. Fold this piece all the way down. Get it in there. It doesn't feel like it's sitting in there right. Something's not right about that. But we'll mess with that here in a minute. All right. Now we have room for the arms. Now this is strange how the arms kind of fold into here. And you do kind of need to rotate stuff around to get them in just right. So this is how they need to look to go in there. Yeah. Then you fold the hand out. Kind of a challenge like that. And now we're going to try to reposition everything to close up and start tabbing some stuff in. So let's see here. So that should look like that. And then that I think that'll actually fix everything with the head. Does that fix everything with the head? Oh, this back piece. Did I put it back on? Okay, anyway. So we have got to get all this stuff tabbed in. And that's tight. It's a nice tight fit. Then we got to figure out how to get these fenders plugged in without snapping it all off. It feels like I'm moving stuff past it. It doesn't feel easy. There we go. And there we go. Same thing over here. There's probably a better way to do it, but anyway, there it goes. That's all in there. It's the front piece. Now we need to work on the sides where they tab in. Pull these pieces down here on the bottom and get that lined up to where these are going to tab into here, like so. This is going to tab into These are kind of covering. This has a dual mandate to sort of cover. I don't know if these should be facing upside down, maybe. There we go. That one over that one. That one over that one. Get this top piece down. Whew, it's coming along. So now for the legs. The legs have a locking mechanism on the inside of the leg, and so we need to unlock that and then fold it out. Bring that foot down so it opens the rest of the way. Now we're going to get into this whole fun part here. Okay, we're going to need to move this wheel out and up and slide it and then move it back into position. Basically, the wheel is going to go into this slot right here. So in order to do that, we need to push this past this to gain access to it. Then you can see it. We're going to push it up, and there's a slider to slide it in. So you just kind of push that wheel in for the slider. Then you're going to come back here and fold this tab all the way down so that the wheel can come back down and expose itself into it. So I guess I slid it down too soon because the wheel has to go around. So the wheel's got to go into this slot right here. So let's get that done. It's a lot easier if you open that leg all the way. It's kind of, there we go. It's in there. And then I'm trying to figure out if you want to flex this a bit, but this is die cast, and it's going to rub up against this painted section to clip it into place, which is not really good for anybody whatsoever. That's not good. But it is what it is. So anyhow, there was also a tab that, anyway, the tab pushed itself back in when you did that, but we'll show you on the other one maybe the tab that I'm supposed to fix. All right, now with this foot, now we got to do this foot. So with the foot, we're going to fold it around. Let's see here, like so. Fold this in, fold this in, fold this piece here out, and then we're going to need to close. So we're going to close this up, and we're going to move this piece into place to make that footwork just right. And this piece popped off on me on the other one, so I'm kind of concerned about it getting it in there. Well, there it goes. It went in, and now that folds back into place, and it looks like it's all right. Wow. Not a lot of fun. I think I'll do a little bit better job on the second leg. So I say that, but I don't know. I think that all the transformations going forward, aside from Locke's going to be tough. All the rest of these, not Locke, but Virtue's going to be tough. The rest of these transformations after this one are going to be pretty simple compared to this. Anyway, okay, so we're going to fold that foot down, fold this out, and then we're going to come around to the front here. We need to lift this up so we can push that in so that we can access, we can move the wheel out. And as you can see, you needed to slide it just a bit to get the wheel to clear. Then we're going to fold this piece here back in on itself. And then using that slider to just get it in the right spot, we're going to tuck it back in to there. And then the scary part of paint scratch. Oh, paint scratch. That's not good. And this part came down on the other one automatically, but now this part here is kind of sticking on this one, which is interesting. It's not clearing that piece, so yeah, that is a problem. I just had to force it. I'm just going to force it. That's not a good thing. Not at all a good thing to have to force that, because paint chip and stress and wear and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, they fixed a lot of things on this, but the transformation is still a bit of a bummer in a way. All right, let's get this wheel down. This wheel came out all the way, so there it is. Now, back to the foot. So we're going to fold the foot around and in on itself. Get this this piece here out, and then we have to collapse it, collapse the whole leg, and the foot's got to go in at the same time, so it's just some more forcing. In a way, I mean, I don't want to say you need to force your figure, but it feels like that's what I'm having to do to make it work. All right, now there it works, and we're going to start closing this bad boy up. We do have to do a couple more things to get it closed up. Once we have these hip flaps or side flaps, they need to collapse up into this cavity right here. So to get them out of the way, and then it's starting to shape up. It's starting to shape up. Now, as you can see, there's a giant situation here where you have to slide the hips. And this hip slide, I have the hip oriented wrong to where, there we go. Now it's slid. There it goes. All right, now we have to move this. Let's go ahead and unfold all of this good stuff. This folds out. This folds out. Folds out from the bottom here. And then, before we can completely close it all up, we have to move this past all of this stuff. And we also need to open this piece up here. Let's see. Get it prepared. Prepare for the tabs. All right, so it's prepared, and this is going to go down under here. It's the back. All right, try to keep it on camera, Mike. All right, so here we go. We're going to just do one side at a time, and just move part past another part, just to get it to work. And there it goes. More or less. More or less. Fold these tab pieces in here to kind of start closing it up, and we'll start getting this closed up. One thing I didn't do, I didn't widen the hips. So we can still do that at this point. I didn't widen the hips. Now this is real scary, because this joint here is really tight, and you have to fold this all the way out on that tight joint, and then you have to fold the other hip joint in. So I missed this step. So there it is. You gotta do it on both sides. So and I'm afraid I'm gonna break something by doing it like this. Anyway, okay, I missed a step. Now we're caught back up, more or less. And we just have to get this tab, these tabs into these slots. So let's see if that works. And it sort of works. Ah, there it goes. And then tighten it all up. Tab everything in. There's tabs, slots. And then over here, there's a tab and a slot. And more paint that is probably going to get chipped in the process. But it is tabbing together. It is coming together nice and solid. Give me a minute to fiddle with it, and then we'll have a comparison to the other cars. Lastly, one part that I kind of forgot was this, and so I noticed it in editing, so I'm going to come back and do it. Untab that, lift these up. We need to flip this around like so, and my bad, my mistake. If you care, I actually kind of liked the smooth look, but you can do it however you want. Of course, it's yours. If you get it, it's going to be yours, so you can do it however you want and close it all back up, tab it all back in, and you've got this look here. So there it goes. Get back into the review. All right, so here's a comparison to the G1 and how the G1 went. And the thing about this is I think it's pretty good because of the fact that this is the G1 mode, and I kind of showed the transformation, the similarities of it. When I think of Cup in his alt mode, I think of the G1 toy more than anything else, because really no other representation to compare it to. I guess the online screen counterpart. But this does look pretty good, and it's an homage to the vintage line and all of that, the movie, so you can kind of see similarities. The toy actually looks like it has more paint apps because it has all those stickers on it, but it still looks pretty cool, still shares some similarities. All right, so here he is next to MP44 in his alt mode. This is the KO. This is the white leg KO. See the white legs? Anyway, you can get size comparison. They're both trucks, right? Sort of. Actually, this is way too big to match that. But anyway. And this is him compared to Fans Toys Blur, which takes up so much space in the frame. Man. And this is the RC. Now, this is a KO version of the RC. That's the 30th anniversary Throwing 30, which is still, in my opinion, the best representation from the main line. But it's oversized, so I can use it with my Masterpiece representations. Does that look good as a team right there? Also, we can throw in Hot Rod leading the bunch. Is that a nice looking team we've got going on? I think it is. I think it is. How they look with their Target Masters in there. They kind of plug in like you would think. There's, well, maybe not. Some tabs, some slots, some tabs, and some stuff. And that's how this one plugs in. Pretty good. And then this one here plugs in kind of the way you would expect. Just right into that slot. I had to play with it for a little bit before it would go in there, but it went in there. It acted like it didn't want to go in there, but it went in there. So this has been my quick look at the reissue, or version 2 of the X-Transbots Locke, the MXXI Warrior. And I gotta say, they fixed a lot of things. They really did fix a lot of things. They changed some paint apps, they remolded some parts, they made it a better figure, a better overall solid figure. It didn't break during transformation. I felt 3 or 4 parts that were still real thin. I mean, they redesigned it a bit, but there's still a lot of breakage points where you can break this figure. I did not break this, and I'm very pleased. So that's one of my litmus tests if this was a better version. And I was able to transform it, and the parts worked. And there are a lot of parts you kind of have to bend past another. And of course, that is kind of an X-Transbots plague. This one is not nearly as bad as Fuzz, but it's still almost on Fuzz level. I think all of the transformations, except for the old designs, but going forward, Jansen looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward, and all of them straightforward, so I commend them for that. This thing isn't perfect, but in my mind, it's the best representation out there. Like and subscribe to Dirty Banger out.
A little to the left. A little bit more. The Insecticons are in our way.
Wrong. They're our way in.
Stay away, lad. That's Prime's fight. Finish him off, Prime. Do it now. Like love comes war stories. You're living one now. I'll give you petro rabbits. Contact. Okay. Well, the dust was really thick. And then this gigantic idiot. I'm trying to remember. There were an awful lot of casualties that day. Fix me. Don't act hostile. I'll use the universal greeting. Ba weep grana weep nitty bong. Ba weep grana weep nitty bong. Anyway, all things considered, you did an amazing job, lad.